What is up, Broken Army? Welcome back to the vlog. Here is hoping that this Tuesday is the best Tuesday you've ever had in your life. Hoping you're having a great week. Today's lesson it actually came right from the comment section. It came from Bria. And Bria said, more on incense, please. I feel like they aren't talked about much in Hoodoo. That would be interesting. Bria, thank you so much for the idea for this video. And as a thank you, I'm going to give you this candle that I dressed in the last video. Here you are. Here, Bria, take the, Bria, this is yours. Take it. You're being rude, Bria. Anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about incense today, guys. And she's right. It's not talked about a lot because I believe that incense is the one thing that is correctly categorized as far as spiritual workings and spiritual items. See, some things are not standalone workings as much as they are like co-stars, if you will, to workings, tools to help facilitate a working. Though the burning of incense can help to bring the desired effect or desired outcome, it is more often used in conjunction with something else. Remember, we talked about layering of workings. Now, if you want to, I know a lot of people, we all learn differently. And some people learn better if they understand how something works. And this one, I have to give a shout out to my Hoteppers because y'all are always talking about vibrations and vibratory rates and stuff like that. Y'all are right this time. When we talk about the 3 stages of matter, remember, this is elementary school science. Solid, liquid, gas. Ice, water, steam, right? We have to understand that energies and entities are at a higher level than we are. They are below the creator, but they are above us. And as such, things on our level are harder for them to perceive. So, in order for us to give offerings that they can really perceive, we have to speed up the vibration of it. And how do you do that? By burning it. And incense, when it's burned, it releases a smell that they can perceive. Now we know they don't have noses. They don't have the human senses that we do, but they can perceive it on their level when it is dispersed through the air. It is the same thing for when we give a shot of rum or something and leave it on our ancestor altar. They're not coming and drinking out of the glass, but when it evaporates, then they can perceive it. That's why when they realize, I like that. I remember that when I was alive. You know, they come down and they interact with it so that it evaporates faster. That's why a lot of times you'll put a shot of whiskey on your ancestor altar and it's gone like that, as opposed to the other shot that sat there for a while because they didn't like it. So when we get it to a higher level, that's when they can perceive it. That's why incense works. Once incense is lit and it burns, then it can either attract the energy of something that you desire, like money, love. It can repel an entity or energy that you don't want, like sickness or like just something nasty. And it can work in conjunction with other workings that we're doing. Burning of incense is more benign. You can burn incense all the time for anything. But to get the most benefit from it, you do want to do it like right along with another working that you're doing. That's when I believe it is the most effective. Now, there are different types of incense. There is the powdered incense. This one came from Rondo's. Powdered incense. Here's the powdered incense you can get from me at www.trueconjure.com. that should be the thumbnail, right? This is Seven Sistered incense. Now, a lot of people like resin incense. This is frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh. And then you've got dragon's blood, copal, things like that. Now I know it is the current new thing that everything has to come from nature. People want to get back to the old ways and they forget that a lot of this was the old way as well. And you know what? Everything has a place. Everything has a place. It's like every member of the tribe, they have their position. There is a time to burn frankincense and myrrh as opposed to, say, a powdered incense. But I don't want people just automatically writing off the powdered incense, because it is not magical in and of itself. What it is an attractant to certain types of energies or entities. And that's why I like to tell you guys there is no cookie cutter approach to hoodoo. It never fails. I can give you guys a working, and then someone will say, well, what's the Bible verse that goes along with it? Because you always assume that there must be a Bible verse that goes along with every working. Someone will say, okay, well, how do I dispose of it? Well, why? Who says you have to dispose of it? I have sweetening jars that I've had for years simply because, shoot, why throw it away? That person may act up again later. So let's get out of this mindset that things have to go in a certain linear fashion. And yeah, we just gotta just break that mold. So yeah, there is a time and a place for powdered incense. I use it myself. That's why I sell it to y'all. I don't sell y'all stuff that I don't use myself. And when we think about a cookie cutter approach and a cookie cutter mold, a lot of times people will say things like, well, if you're going to burn something on your ancestor altar, burn frankincense and myrrh. Now remember, the incense disperses and it attracts. But what if your ancestors didn't like the smell of it? I, for one, don't like the smell of lavender. It makes me nauseous. So if you burn that, I'm not, and I'm an ancestor, I ain't coming. Because it repelled me in life and it's going to repel me now. So when we talk about these types of things, don't just think that, well, this is what I read, so it's going to work. People will burn sage. That's another thing. That's another form of incense. You don't think of it as incense, but it is. That people will, I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to sage everything. And there are some things out there that sage attracts. Some non-righteous things that sage attracts. There are some things that, when you think about it, sage is on the seasoning aisle of the grocery store. And you burn some sage thinking you're going to get rid of everything. And all you did was season up you and your family members for that thing to come and take a bite out of y'all. So that's why you have to do a little bit of research on what it is you're trying to do and then go from there. I have no problem buying a powdered incense from a reputable, long-lived, not because y'all make anything reputable nowadays, but a store that's been around for a while. Rondo's about 80 years old, the store. So yeah, their money drawing, their protection stuff. Yeah, I know that there's no roots and herbs in there, but there's a fragrance that will attract certain energies and entities. Because let's not forget that incense can also steer the invisible currents around us. I've said it before, screw what the label says. All magic does is draw things to you. That's it. It is drawing stuff. It is attracting. That's why this label says money drawing. That's why this label says money drawing. It is drawing it to you. Money, the currents of money are all around us right now. They are all around us. We just need to draw it to us. So the burning of certain smells will, for some reason, attract that current. Think of it like lure to a bait. I mean, lure to a bait. Wow. Lure or bait to that energy. So when you burn that incense, it sends it up to a higher vibration where those currents are, and it draws it to you. Now, it can be a very mild standalone working, but I like to use a candle and incense. Another type working and incense. For instance, there was this particular shop owner down here that decided to disrespect someone. So here is a working that I did. I don't know if y'all will be able to see it. Yeah, that is a straight razor, cutting their neck and everything. Y'all probably can't see it. I'll put a picture of it if I feel like it later on. But yeah, burn some black arts or some hexing incense with it to draw that current to that working. So, don't get hung up on this current thing where if it has to come from nature. Y'all out there crumbling up plants and burning them. And yes, that was an incense back in the day before we started powdering them and stuff like that. But I don't know. Nowadays, I feel like people want to reinvent the wheel. Like there's people out there that want to make their own Florida water. Like that makes it so much better. And let me tell y'all something. When we're talking about Florida water was invented in 1808. It's been around a long time. So if our ancestors couldn't buy it, they used something else. And once they were able to buy it, they probably bought it. Instead of mixing all this stuff that in their time would have been super expensive when it's cheaper just to buy it. And speaking of Florida water, since we're talking about incense and talking about vibration, y'all ever wonder why all these different waters are just kind of formulated in alcohol? Florida water, Kananga water, Colonia, to all these different waters are really perfumes in alcohol, because they knew once you douse yourself with the Florida water, what happens? The alcohol will evaporate and go out, and that dispersing of energy, it doesn't draw necessarily beneficial entities as much as negative ones. It runs away like a bug bomb. See, when you light a bug bomb in your house, you get out the house, right? Because what happens? If you don't get out the house, that bug bomb gonna hit you and cause something nasty to happen. The same thing with incense or certain scents like Florida water or things like that. Certain entities are like, look, I know that stuff. I'm getting up out of here because I know something bad gonna happen if I stay. So that is why we use incense, because it goes to a level of vibration that draws certain entities or energies, steers them towards us, or repels certain energies or entities. So hopefully that helped to understand why we do it. Now you can still burn the resins. For everything there's a season. So yeah, there is a time for frankincense and myrrh. I use it for certain things. There's a time for dragon's blood. There's a time for copal. But let us not discount the powdered incenses that are for sale at trueconjure.com. And think that, okay, well, since there's no roots and herbs in there, then it must be bupkis, because it's not. There are certain fragrances, like the Florida water, that will steer certain currents towards you. Okay? So, with that being said, always make sure you burn it in a well-ventilated area, or you burn it in a small amount so that you're not running yourself out of there, because you don't want to attract some entity but delete yourself. And it doesn't matter. Sometimes I will burn certain incense at my front door, because that's where, like my money and stuff will come in. Sometimes I burn it at here at my desk, in my office. Sometimes I burn the back door. It does not matter. Just stay safe. Burn your incense. Do it in conjunction with your workings and work. Don't just watch the video and like it. Yeah, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. But go out there and do the work. Buy your incense, light your incense, and watch the magic happen. Bria, hopefully this answered your question. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. If you got any kind of value out of this, please think about subscribing to the channel. And with that being said, before I go, there anything can be used for incense? Y'all remember my big snake that I showed you guys the last live? Well, she just shed. This should show you how big she is. Look, this is her shed. This should show you how big she is. And it's still moist too. Ugh, I hate when it's still moist. And it's still rolled up. It's still rolled up. So she's even bigger. She's even bigger. But sometimes I will burn some snake shed as a protection. Why? Well, because when you burn snake shed, it lets something know that there's a snake around. And you know how we, a lot of times, will recoil from snakes? Babies will recoil from snakes, and they don't even know anything. It's something hardwired. Entities are the same way. It is a form of protection. Shoot, I even sprinkle snake shed around my chicken coop to keep other snakes away. Yeah, see, put y'all up on some free game. So, just about anything can be used as an incense. Just be smart about it. Don't be burning money, because your ancestors gonna look at you burning money, be like, well, if you got money to burn, then I don't need to bring you nothing, because you burning the money I did bring you. But anything else, sweet smelling, things that they like, yes, it can be an incense. All right. I'm out of here for real, guys. Let me edit this video, get it out. There are still a few seats left for the Hoodoo Grown Folks Magic webinar. Someone came and was like, well, I'm not really for that hexing type of stuff. And I totally get it. I do. I totally understand. But we are not just going to talk about how to get somebody to want to do the grown folks with us. Oh, no, no, no. We are also going to talk about how we can use that energy that is generated during the grown folks process, even if you're doing it by yourself. Even if you're doing it by yourself. We're going to harness that energy and power it out there and use it to draw money, to draw different things to us. Okay? Why work off your battery? Why bother your ancestors when here's an energy that you can use to do what you want to without having to get spiritual approval? Because, you know, sometimes your ancestors be like, I don't even feel like dealing with that. So here's something that you can generate some energy to fuel some workings. All right, guys, I'm out of here for real. Hopefully that helped. Y'all have a good one. Profit out.